Do you know what's more terrifying than death itself? It's living without the ability to walk on your own. No one says this to your face. But I will. Because if you're over 60 and you've noticed your legs getting weaker, if climbing stairs is harder than before, or if just walking across the living room makes you feel unsteady, then I'm sorry to say, you're standing at the edge of a cliff that countless others have already fallen over. The cliff of losing your mobility, becoming bedridden, and no longer being able to care for yourself. There is no siren that goes off, no alarm to warn you, just a gradual loss of strength, day after day, until one day you need someone to help you stand up from your chair. Until one small slip in the bathroom changes your life permanently. You might think this is just part of aging, but it's not. This is your body quietly screaming for help. It is the result of a deficiency in 3 essential nutrients. Nutrients that connect your brain to your legs, that control muscle response, and most importantly, that help you retain your most basic human right, independence. And ironically, no one ever tests for these deficiencies. Because most people never imagine that vitamins could be what saves them from a wheelchair. But I'm here to tell you, they can. And they must. With just 3 specific vitamins, taken correctly, at the right dosage and time, you can change everything. Your legs are not broken. Your body has not given up. It's just waiting to be refueled properly. I'm not telling you this to frighten you. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to live another day in fear. Because I've seen people who thought they would be stuck in a chair for life walk again with strength and confidence in just 7 days. And I want you to be next. In this video, I will reveal the 3 powerful vitamins that help restore leg strength rapidly. Backed by clinical research, recommended by neurological specialists, yet often overlooked in your prescription list. If you're truly serious about your health, if you do not want to spend your final years staring at the ceiling, waiting for someone to help you to the bathroom, then watch this until the very end. And if you find this information valuable, please consider subscribing to this channel so we can continue sharing life-saving knowledge, not just empty advice. But before I show you how to restore your legs, let me ask you one question. If you knew that taking just 3 vitamins a day could help you avoid a wheelchair for the next 10 years, would you A. Start today? B. Think about it for a few more days? Leave your answer, A or B, in the comments below. Because your answer tells me something powerful. Whether you're ready to take control, or still waiting for life to decide for you. 1. The mechanism of leg muscle weakness after age 60. Little known facts. Few people will tell you this. The legs, not the graying hair, not the wrinkled skin, are the very first place where aging reveals itself. It's not vanity. It's not cosmetic. It's biology. That quiet heaviness in your step. That subtle trembling on the stairs. That growing hesitation when getting up from a chair. These are not just signs of getting older. They are warning signals from your body. And while many assume that leg weakness is just a natural part of aging, the truth is more complex and far more hopeful. What's happening to your legs is not a slow surrender to time. It is a biological mechanism, one that can be understood, addressed, reversed, and rebuilt if you know how. Imagine your body as a car. Your brain is the steering wheel. Your heart is the engine. And your legs? They're the wheels, the part that meets the ground. That carries your weight. That makes movement possible. But no matter how powerful the engine, a car with deflated, misaligned, or worn-out wheels goes nowhere. Likewise, no matter how strong your willpower is, if your legs fail you, you become trapped, physically and emotionally, within the borders of your own home. Your own body. After age 60, leg muscle deterioration doesn't happen in an obvious way. It's more like a quiet leak. Silent, slow, dismissed as normal. On average, adults over 60 lose 1% to 3% of their muscle mass every year. In 5 years, that could amount to a 15% loss of strength, without you even realizing it. No alarms, no red flags, just a creeping awareness. My legs don't feel as steady anymore. So why does this happen? There are 3 primary mechanisms, 3 silent saboteurs, that work together to accelerate leg weakness faster than in any other part of your body. The first is decreased nutrient absorption, particularly the vitamins essential for muscle and nerve function. As we age, our stomach produces less acid. Yet stomach acid is vital for breaking down food and unlocking nutrients. Without enough acid, your body cannot properly absorb vitamin D3, which helps with muscle contraction and balance. Nor can it absorb vitamin B12, which ensures that signals from the brain reach the muscles without delay. And it fails to process vitamin B1, the crucial fuel that powers each step you take. When your stomach weakens, it's like the power station of your body starts to flicker. And your legs are the first place to lose signal. The second mechanism is reduced blood flow to the lower limbs, particularly the calves, knees, and feet. As the heart slows, arteries stiffen, and physical activity declines, blood doesn't reach the legs efficiently. As a result, the muscle cells in your legs operate like a factory with no raw materials, low on oxygen, low on nutrients, running on fumes. This explains why a short walk can feel like carrying bricks, or why nighttime leg cramps become more frequent. Your muscles are literally starving for energy. And blood is the delivery system they depend on. The third, and perhaps most overlooked, mechanism is inadequate movement paired with poor muscle regeneration. Now, this may sound contradictory. Many people over 60 still walk, still do household chores, still stay active, but movement is not the same as muscle recovery. Just because you move doesn't mean your muscles are being rebuilt. Without enough protein, without the right vitamins, or with improper movement patterns every time you exercise, you might be breaking your muscles down further instead of building them up. Especially when you avoid critical movements like stepping up, climbing stairs, or squatting, the very actions that maintain strength in the thighs, knees, and glutes. The body forgets how to use these muscle groups, just like a piano piece you haven't practiced in years. It forgets every note, but the greatest danger isn't in the biology. It's in becoming used to being weak. When you accept that you can no longer walk far, when you stop climbing stairs, when you no longer take your grandchild to the park, your nervous system starts to give up too. Your brain says, they no longer need strength. Let's stop sending help. And when the brain disengages, there is no signal left to fight. Do you see the danger here? Death doesn't come from illness. It comes from accepting a body that has already shut down. So I'm not asking you, how weak are you now? I'm asking you something far more important. Have you started to believe that you can never be strong again? If you've ever believed that, I want you to let go of it right now. Because everything that's weakening your legs can be addressed, improved, and rebuilt. Once you understand these three mechanisms, you are no longer helpless. You can improve nutrient absorption by changing how and when you eat, using digestive enzymes, and choosing water-soluble or methylated vitamin forms. Restart blood circulation with short 5-minute movement bursts, or by syncing vitamin intake with your cardiovascular rhythm. Rebuild muscle not just through movement, but through strategic activation, targeting large muscle groups, aligning brain-muscle coordination, and pairing with proper nutrition. You don't need to be an athlete. You just need to stop listening to the quiet voice of resignation and start taking action. Every step you take is a declaration. I'm not done yet. I once asked a 72-year-old woman, "What do you want most right now?" She didn't say, to be healthy. She didn't say, to live longer. She said, "I want to climb the front step of my house again, without anyone helping me." Your legs are not just muscles and bones. They are freedom. They are dignity. They are pride. And now that you know what's silently been stealing that from you, I believe you can take it back. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how each vitamin, D3, B12, and B1, directly contributes to restoring leg strength and rewiring the neural muscular skeletal system that age has tried to dismantle. Keep going, because your body is waiting for you to give the command. Begin again. 2. Vitamin D3, the master switch of the musculoskeletal nervous system. There are tiny, invisible things in this world, overlooked and underestimated, that control the smooth functioning of entire systems. In the human body, vitamin D3 is one of those things. You could live for years without ever hearing its name. You could go through multiple health checkups and never have your D3 levels tested. But when you stand up and feel unsteady, when your legs feel like they're dragging behind, when you wake up with unexplained knee pain, chances are, what you're missing isn't painkillers, physical therapy, or youth. It might be something as seemingly insignificant as D3. A compound so small, yet one that functions as the master switch for your entire movement system. Most people think of vitamin D3 only in terms of helping the body absorb calcium for stronger bones. But that's just scratching the surface. D3 activates the nervous system, ensuring fast, accurate communication between your brain and muscles. It helps your muscles contract and relax in rhythm, keeping your stride stable, fluid, and controlled. It regulates calcium distribution in the bloodstream, supports enzyme activity, and, most importantly, helps prevent muscle atrophy due to aging or inactivity. These aren't marketing claims. They are scientific facts, supported by dozens of peer-reviewed studies from leading research centers. In one study at the University of Birmingham in the UK, seniors over 65 were given 800 IU of vitamin D3 daily for 5 days. Their leg strength increased by an average of 19%. Another study in China found that older adults with stable D3 levels not only maintained better balance but also had faster reflexes when encountering obstacles. But perhaps the most striking was a Harvard study on geriatric health, showing that seniors with low D3 levels had a 40% higher risk of falling and being hospitalized compared to those with healthy D3 levels. Why does this happen? Because vitamin D3, though small, activates the entire neuromuscular skeletal system, like a well-synchronized engine. Without D3, calcium can't be properly absorbed into bones, no matter how much is circulating in your blood. Without D3, nerve cells struggle to transmit signals effectively, leading to delayed reactions, poor balance, and falls. Without D3, muscles weaken not because of inactivity, but because the internal on switch has never been flipped. And yet here's the cruel irony. After the age of 60, your body's ability to naturally produce D3 declines drastically. Your skin becomes thinner, your exposure to sunlight decreases, and the two organs responsible for converting D3 into its active form, the liver and kidneys, also begin to slow down. Which means even if you eat well and stay moderately active, your risk of D3 deficiency remains high unless you supplement it intentionally. This is why so many people over 60 begin to experience leg weakness, joint pain, and unexplained balance issues, despite having normal lab results. I once met a 74-year-old Navy veteran, disciplined, strong, proud. He told me, "I never thought I'd need to hold the handrail to climb my own stairs." He had no injury, no known illness, but his body was losing autonomy, bit by bit. After extensive testing, doctors found his D3 levels were half the minimum threshold. Within just 3 weeks of proper supplementation at the right dose and right time, he no longer needed to steady himself. He began walking 3 laps around the house each morning. And more importantly, he regained the one thing we all fear losing: control over his own body. So what should you do to avoid going down the same path? First, understand that D3 won't work if taken the wrong way. As a fat-soluble vitamin, D3 needs to be consumed after a meal containing healthy fats, like eggs, salmon, avocado, or olive oil. Taking D3 on an empty stomach or with coffee or tea wastes over half of its potential. Second, timing matters. D3 can influence hormone cycles and the central nervous system, so it should be taken in the morning or early afternoon, not at night, as it may cause restlessness or mild insomnia in some sensitive individuals. Third, dosage must be accurate. For healthy individuals over 60, the standard recommendation is 800–1000 IU per day. For those with fall risks, diagnosed osteoporosis, or muscle weakness, doctors often recommend 1500 to 2000 IU per day, with regular blood tests to avoid toxicity. You might ask, can't I get enough D3 from food? The answer is, it's extremely difficult. One egg has only about 40 IU. A glass of fortified milk, about 100 IU. Salmon has more, around 500 IU per serving. But how many people eat salmon daily? That's why even a balanced diet rarely provides sufficient D3 without supplementation. And here's the final, most important truth. D3 is not a painkiller. You won't feel it instantly. But if you take it consistently and correctly for just 7 to 14 days, you'll start to notice your legs feeling lighter, your steps becoming more confident, and your reaction time improving, whether you're standing, turning, or stepping down. Don't wait until a fall forces you to reconsider. Don't wait until a doctor hands you a walker to learn what D3 really does. Treat D3 as a foundational part of your proactive recovery plan. An intelligent move to safeguard your freedom, independence, and dignity. I know you've probably taken dozens of medications and been given countless pieces of advice. And the thought of adding one more supplement may feel overwhelming. But hear this: not all vitamins are created equal. D3 isn't just another dietary supplement. It is the ignition key to your movement system. When restored properly, D3 doesn't just support muscle, it reboots the entire nervous muscular skeletal system that time has tried to shut down. You don't have to change your entire life. You just need to change how you start your morning. Start with the right dose of D3. Taken after a breakfast with healthy fats. Add in just 10 minutes of gentle walking outside, so your skin can naturally synthesize even more D3. And journal your progress each week, so you can witness your own comeback, not your decline. You've walked hundreds of thousands of steps in your lifetime. Don't let your journey stop now. Not over something as small as a missing nutrient. Because with the right tools, you can begin again, on your own 2 feet. 3. Vitamin B12 connecting the brain to the feet. If there's a thread that connects thought to action, that bridges the desire to move with the ability to lift your legs and walk, then that thread is called vitamin B12. It has no color, no scent, no taste. It doesn't create a noticeable feeling when it's missing. But it's that very silence that makes it dangerous, because it quietly severs the connection between your brain and your body. Gradually and invisibly, until it's too late to reverse. You may have experienced it. Your foot remains planted, but your brain takes a few seconds to command it to move. Or perhaps you know you should step to the left, but you lose your balance because the signal didn't arrive in time. After 60, those delayed seconds can mean the difference between a safe step and a broken bone. No one tells you that what you're lacking might not be physical strength. It might be a vital biological molecule that keeps your neural signals intact. And that molecule is vitamin B12. The architecture of the human nervous system is a wonder of nature. From the brain, millions of electrical impulses travel down the spinal cord and into the peripheral nerves, reaching all the way to your toes. Every movement you make is the result of a bioelectrical command. But for that command to reach its destination, precisely and without interference, your body needs adequate B12. This vitamin is the raw material for producing myelin, the protective sheath that wraps around nerves, shielding them from damage and allowing signals to travel quickly and efficiently. Without B12, this insulation wears thin. Signals become erratic, like a frayed wire. Sometimes the current flows, other times it flickers. The result? You can feel, but it's no longer consistent, no longer reliable. The consequences don't shout, they accumulate. Some begin to feel tingling in their soles. Some describe needle-like sensations in their calves when lying down. Some walk unsteadily, even on a perfectly flat floor. But the most frightening is this. You stand in the middle of a room, wanting to walk, yet unsure how long your balance will last. This is no longer about muscle strength. This is a sign of neural disconnection, a breakdown in communication between the control center, your brain, and the execution system, your legs. And vitamin B12, in the middle of that chain, is the messenger ensuring the command reaches its target. In a large-scale study at Oxford University, seniors over 65 with low B12 levels had twice the risk of falling within the following year compared to those with sufficient levels. These individuals weren't frail. They weren't diagnosed with specific neurological diseases. They simply lost the ability to maintain balance, because the brain-to-muscle signal had become blurred. In another study, older adults with mild balance impairment were given 1000 mcg of B12 daily. Within 8 weeks, they reported significantly fewer falls, faster walking speed, and, most importantly, renewed confidence in their physical control. And that confidence, which seems like a psychological trait, is actually deeply rooted in the smooth operation of the nervous system. People lose trust in themselves when they're no longer sure their legs will obey. When every step comes with the fear, will I be able to hold myself upright? That's when the brain begins to doubt itself. And when the brain doubts, the body weakens. This loop gradually causes older adults to retreat inward, reduce movement, accelerate muscle loss, and ultimately, become prisoners in their own homes. Vitamin B12 can break that cycle. Not with miracles, but by restoring neural signals, rebuilding the myelin sheath, and helping the body respond with precision again. But like all true healing, it requires consistency, proper understanding, and correct usage. Adults over 60 are especially vulnerable to B12 deficiency, not because they eat poorly, but because their bodies can no longer absorb it effectively. Stomach acid decreases, intrinsic factor enzymes decline, common medications, acid blockers, diabetes drugs like metformin, even frequent alcohol use, interfere with B12 absorption. So even if you eat meat, fish, eggs, or dairy regularly, your body might not be converting it into usable B12. That's why for older adults, the best solution is supplementing B12 in its active form, methylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin is the ready-to-use version of B12. Your body doesn't need to convert it. It comes in sublingual tablets, sprays, or fast-dissolving capsules, allowing it to absorb directly through your mouth lining. The recommended dosage for seniors typically ranges from 500 to 1000 mcg per day. And for those who are more sensitive, it can be split into 2 smaller doses. It's best taken after lunch or dinner, avoiding tea, coffee, or alcohol, which can block absorption. You don't have to wait until your legs go numb to start supplementing B12. Start before the signals get distorted. Think of B12 as the hotline operator between your brain and your legs. And if that line is well maintained, you'll never worry about sudden disconnection. I once spoke to a 68-year-old woman living alone. She said, "I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of standing up from a chair and my legs not listening." For seniors, independence isn't about wealth or technology. It's about the ability to move without help. Each step is a declaration. I'm still in control of my life. And B12, quiet and unassuming, is the guardian of that statement. You might feel tired, unmotivated, reluctant to move, but that too could be a sign of B12 deficiency. Because B12 also plays a critical role in producing dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters that regulate mood. Without B12, you don't just lose muscle strength. You're more likely to experience anxiety, brain fog, or memory lapses. Correct B12 supplementation doesn't just strengthen your steps. It clears your mind. And that clarity matters, because it gives you a choice. You don't have to wait for decline before taking action. You can start today, with a single B12 tablet, with one informed decision, to preserve the link between willpower and motion, between intention and the legs that carry it out. Don't let each step feel like a gamble. Don't let your brain's commands take seconds too long to arrive. And above all, don't let your legs disconnect from the life force still burning inside you. Just because of one quiet, overlooked vitamin, B12. 4. Vitamin B1. Thiamine, the forgotten muscle fuel. There are deficiencies that don't cause pain. They don't make you dizzy. They leave no visible wound. And yet, they make you feel as if you're living inside a body that's been unplugged. You're still breathing, still eating, still walking, but everything seems to be running in low power mode. Every movement feels like an effort. Every step feels heavy. You're not sick, but you're not strong, either. And if you've ever found yourself in that state, you may be missing a tiny, often overlooked nutrient called vitamin B1, or thiamine. Thiamine is what turns food into usable energy. Without it, your body is like an engine full of fuel that refuses to start. It doesn't build muscles, it won't make you smarter, but it powers up the internal spark that activates every muscular, neurological, and cellular process. Without it, everything still runs, but slowly, sluggishly, like a machine grinding its gears. That's why thiamine is often called the fuel for life reactions, especially for your legs, which demand more energy than any other part of your body. Adults over 60 are especially prone to silent thiamine deficiency. Aging reduces the gut's ability to absorb nutrients, particularly in the small intestine, where B1 is exclusively absorbed. Diuretics, commonly prescribed for high blood pressure or heart failure, flush B1 out through urine. Even a small daily glass of wine can reduce absorption. And diets low in whole grains, fresh vegetables, or high in processed foods leave very little B1 coming in to begin with. That's why it's no coincidence that so many seniors say, "I just went to the store and felt like I climbed a mountain." Or, If I stand too long, my legs start trembling. Thiamine doesn't just turn sugar into energy. It plays a vital role in the Krebs cycle, your body's system for producing ATP. The core energy molecule every muscle cell runs on. Without enough thiamine, your muscles can't produce ATP fast enough, resulting in weak legs, instability, and breathlessness when climbing stairs. That's not aging. That's energy starvation at the muscle level. But it doesn't stop there. B1 is also crucial for nerve signal transmission, especially through the peripheral nerves that control your lower limbs. Without B1, your legs don't just feel weak, they feel heavy, uncoordinated, like there's a cloud between your thoughts and your actions. You want to step, but you're not sure your feet will respond. I once spoke with a 69-year-old man, a former construction worker, strong his entire life. He told me, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of living the rest of my life dragging a boulder with every step." After multiple exams, doctors discovered he was severely deficient in vitamin B1, something no one had thought to check, since all his standard blood work looked fine. Just 10 days into therapeutic thiamine supplementation, he came back and said something I'll never forget. "I don't have to pretend to be strong anymore. I actually feel alive again." That feeling of having energy, not a temporary buzz, but a stable foundation that makes you want to get out of bed, take a walk, and live again. That's what thiamine gives you. But because it doesn't cause dramatic symptoms, it's often overlooked. People pay attention to what causes pain, but quiet exhaustion is dismissed as normal aging. Let me be clear, you weren't born to live in fatigue, and age has no right to rob you of your desire to live fully. The good news is, you don't need to completely change your lifestyle to restore B1. It starts with simple steps. A breakfast of oats, sunflower seeds, and a boiled egg. A thiamine supplement, taken with breakfast, 50 to 100 milligrams per day is sufficient for most older adults experiencing fatigue. Avoid taking it with coffee or alcohol. And if you're on diuretics, diabetes medications, or have absorption issues, speak to your doctor about long-term supplementation. You might feel a difference in just a few days. Lighter steps. No more shortness of breath after walking quickly. And something else, something internal, awakens. The desire to do something. When your body has energy, your spirit lights up. You stop slumping in your chair. Stop watching life pass by from the sidelines. And you start participating in it again. Because energy doesn't come from motivation quotes. It comes from biochemistry. From every cell, every nerve, being fully fueled and firing. That's the irreplaceable role of vitamin B1. It won't make you Superman overnight, but it will flip the switch back on in a system that's been shut down for too long. Just like a lamp that's sat in darkness for years. The moment the current flows again, the light returns. Not because the lamp is new, but because it's finally been powered back on. And you deserve to be powered back on. Not to race against time, but to walk again, with energy, purpose, and joy in every step. 5. Recovery Roadmap. How to combine 3 optimal vitamins. There's a common mistake many people make after the age of 60. They believe that health is simply a matter of luck. Some people decline faster, others stay strong, and it's all chalked up to genetics or God's will. But the truth is, most of the differences you see in aging don't come from your genes. They come from small, daily decisions, the kind that seem insignificant in the moment, but accumulate over time and ultimately determine how you live at 70, 80, and beyond. Among those choices, there's one that may seem simple, yet done correctly, it can transform your entire physical recovery. How you integrate 3 essential vitamins, D3, B12, and B1, into your daily biological rhythm. You don't need to overhaul your lifestyle. No massive health revolution required. You just need a small shift in timing, method, and natural synergy, the same way you coordinate your breathing with your steps. Because these vitamins don't act as separate miracle pills. They form a triangular system, supporting each other, each playing a different role, but only reaching full effect when taken at the right time. In the right combination. Morning is the most important window. It's when your body reactivates after a long night of rest. Your internal systems are just booting up. Your nervous system is reconnecting. And your legs, after hours of stillness, need a gentle signal to get moving. That's why vitamin D3 and vitamin B1, thiamine, should be taken immediately after breakfast. D3, as you've learned, is the master activator of the musculoskeletal nervous system, but it needs fat to be absorbed effectively. So your breakfast shouldn't just be toast or a glass of milk. Add a boiled egg, a few slices of avocado, or a handful of walnuts, healthy fats that allow D3 to enter your bloodstream efficiently. Then take 1000 to 2000 IU of D3. A safe and highly effective dose for older adults, especially if you get little sun exposure. At the same time, take 50 to 100 milligrams of vitamin B1. It wakes up your energy metabolism, kickstarts muscle activity, and triggers the ATP cycle, the biochemical fuel you need for movement, alertness, and stamina. By combining D3 and B1 in the morning, you're activating your legs from both directions. One powers the nervous system like a switchboard, the other fuels your muscle fibers directly. This is how you start the engine of your day in a way that's complete, sustainable, and intentional. Midday is the ideal time to strengthen the connection between your brain and your legs. The perfect moment to take vitamin B12, especially in its activated form, methylcobalamin. By midday, your body is entering a state of biological stability after the morning's activity. Absorbing B12 at this time enhances reflexes, boosts coordination, and prevents that all too common afternoon slump. Take B12 after lunch, once your stomach isn't empty and your blood sugar is stable. Avoid combining it with coffee, tea, or alcohol. These inhibit absorption and blunt the effect. If you follow this schedule consistently for just 7 to 10 days, you may start to notice subtle but powerful shifts. Maybe you no longer need to grab the chair to stand up. Maybe you can walk briskly without losing your breath. Maybe you want to take one more lap around the garden instead of sitting down immediately. But more than that, you'll feel your body finally responding. Many people believe recovery means extreme workouts, a complete dietary overhaul, or spending hundreds on supplements. But what they don't realize is that without adequate D3, B12, and B1, all those efforts are like pumping fuel into a car that hasn't even been started. You must activate the system first. Only then will your body respond to exercise, nutrients, and lifestyle changes in a sustainable way. I once worked with a group of older adults in a rehabilitation program. Each had different challenges. One struggled with balance. Another couldn't climb stairs. Others described feeling like their body was unplugged. We didn't change their diets. We didn't give them heavy exercise. We simply optimized their vitamin timing, no extras. And within just 2 weeks, over 80% of them said, "I feel like I want to live again." Not just because their legs were lighter, but because their minds were clearer, their sleep deeper, and their mood more stable. Recovery doesn't stop with taking vitamins. Each morning, after your D3 and B1, do a light activity, a slow 5-minute walk or a 10-second single leg balance. It's not just exercise, it's a signal to your brain that the body is ready to move. After your midday B12, try a few stretches, a twist, or a short indoor walk. This helps retrain the neural pathways between your brain and limbs. This synergy of nutrition plus gentle movement is the essence of true recovery. Not complicated, not exhausting, but so effective, it may surprise you. And finally, the most important part of any recovery plan isn't knowledge. It's consistency. Vitamins only work if you take them, every day. Your body will only restore itself if you show up for it, step by step. Day by day. Write it down. Timing, dosage, how you feel each day. Make it a habit, not a whim, because even a small, steady habit can build an entirely new body in a matter of weeks. This isn't a promise. It's a path. You don't have to run it. You just have to walk it. In the right direction, at the right pace, and without giving up. 6. Warnings and notes when using vitamins. You might be thinking, I already understand these vitamins. I know what to take. And when. That should be enough. But in truth, understanding has never been the destination. Understanding is just the first step. The next step is understanding correctly. Here's why. Vitamins are not miracle pills. They are not risk-free magic. Even if you're only taking D3, B12, and B1, which are essential and highly beneficial for people over 60. you still need to approach them with maturity, clarity, and responsibility. Because anything you put into your body daily, even good things, can become a burden if used incorrectly. Let me be direct. Don't increase the dose just because you feel better. Don't take 5,000 IU of something just because your friend does. Don't double the dose tomorrow just because you forgot today. Your body doesn't need more. It needs precision. Take vitamin D3, for example. It's a fat-soluble vitamin, meaning it can accumulate in the body if taken in excess over time. You may not notice anything immediately, but silently, your blood calcium levels can rise. This may lead to constipation, nausea, loss of appetite, or, worse, kidney stones or heart rhythm issues. This risk is especially high if you have pre-existing kidney conditions or are already taking calcium supplements. Which means, no matter how beneficial it is, D3 should not exceed 4,000 IU per day unless under medical supervision. Now, with vitamin B12, people often say, it's water-soluble. What's extra just gets flushed out. No harm, right? Well, that's partly true, but not entirely. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin, or if you have liver or kidney issues, then high doses of B12 without monitoring can interfere with blood clotting or cause unwanted accumulation. Also, a small group of people, very small, may experience mild reactions to synthetic forms of B12, skin rashes, restlessness, or even slight sleep disturbances. Not dangerous, but still worth knowing, especially if you're taking it daily. As for vitamin B1, thiamine, it's extremely safe and rarely causes side effects. But if you take diuretics, which increase urination, drink alcohol, or have absorption issues in the small intestine, your body may not absorb B1 properly. This could make you think the vitamin isn't working, when in reality, your body just can't use it, no matter how consistently you take it. So, how do you take vitamins correctly and safely? The answer is, become friends with your body. Listen to the subtle changes. Track how you feel each day. Don't treat vitamins like a chore to be checked off, but as part of your active healing journey. If you have underlying health conditions, liver, kidney, diabetes, heart, you should consult your doctor before starting any long-term supplement plan. Even with something as basic as vitamins. If you're on long-term medications, like blood thinners, antacids, or diabetes medications, you need to be especially aware of interactions. Many drugs can interfere with how vitamins are absorbed or excreted, often without you realizing it. And more importantly, get regular blood tests. You don't need one every month. Just once every 6 to 12 months is enough. A single test checking your levels of D3, B12, calcium, liver enzymes, can give you a clear picture of how your body is responding to your current routine. Don't wait for symptoms before getting checked. Don't wait for side effects before you reconsider your plan. And never assume that natural means harmless. I don't say this to scare you. I say it to give you power. Because if you've chosen to walk the path of recovery, then walk it with wisdom, confidence, and clarity. We are not lacking in solutions. What we often lack is clarity. And once you have clarity, each daily pill no longer feels like a task, but becomes a purposeful action. A choice, not an obligation. A decision based on understanding, not on following the crowd. Because at the end of the day, vitamins won't keep you healthy. You will, with your awareness, with your commitment, with every steady step you take to keep your body strong. There are moments in life when you stop running. You're no longer caught up in the hustle of the outside world. No more chasing careers, achievements, or invisible races. Everything quiets down, and for the first time, you begin to turn inward. You look down at your legs. How long have they been with you? From childhood, when you first learned to walk on cold tile floors. Through youth, racing toward your dreams. Then adulthood, standing firm for your family, your career. And now, as you begin to slow down, your legs are sending you quiet signals. Signals you may have ignored until now. They ache. They tremble. They grow weaker with each passing day. No shouting. No complaints. Just slowing down. And maybe, at some point, you told yourself, this is normal after 60. But it's not. It's not normal. It's a quiet, persistent alarm bell. A gentle warning from your body that it's missing something. Not time. Not youth. But vital energy. Core nutrients that have slowly faded away without your knowing. The good news is, you now know what they are. And that knowledge could change everything. Vitamin D3, the master switch that activates your muscular, skeletal, and nervous systems. Vitamin B12, the lifeline that connects your brain to your legs. Vitamin B1, the metabolic fuel that powers your endurance and movement. 3 small capsules a day. But they can rewrite the story of the rest of your life. So, what's the greatest lesson in this journey? That you don't need to wait until you're falling apart to start taking care of yourself. That strength has nothing to do with age. It lies in the courage to take initiative. To begin again. That every weakening step is an opportunity. To listen more closely. To respond more wisely. And more than that, you're not doing this just for yourself. You're doing it for your children. For your grandchildren. For the countless others silently struggling behind closed doors. Unaware there is another way. The value of life after 60 isn't measured in how many years you have left. It's measured in the quality of the days you get to live. Yes, you might have 30 more years ahead. But if those years are spent in pain, stillness, dependency, that's not living. That's simply prolonging existence. You now have the knowledge. You understand what your body truly needs. Now is the time to act. Start gently. 1 properly dosed vitamin in the morning. 1 minute of light movement. 1 small commitment. I will care for this body as I would for an old, loyal friend. And on the days you feel like giving up, come back to what you've learned today. Remember, you're not alone. There are millions like you. And millions who are waiting to see someone just like you rise up. So they, too, can begin again. You are the first spark in a new generation. A generation of 60 plus who live with awareness, with agency, with dignity and choice. If this message touched your heart, if your body nodded along with every word, if you still believe in hope, in strength, in a better, freer life, then please subscribe to this channel right now. Because we're just getting started. I'll see you on the next step of this journey. There are still miles ahead. And this time, you'll walk them stronger than ever before.